Brother Man has some big ideas for a really big problem. Hi, I'm John McNeil, and this is the Invest Strong Network. Welcome. For the last year and a half to 2 years, the political candidates have been basically pouring out their economic plans and things like that. Now, in the midst of all of these plans and for taxes and trade and monetary policy and whatnot, something has been left out, and it's something that I think is perhaps the single most critical issue dealing with millions of persons in our society, and that is what could or should be done for the unbanked and the underbanked. Now, you may be watching this and saying to yourself, but wait, Brother John, doesn't everyone have access to a bank account? There are three banks on every corner, and even if there's not a physical location, there are these online banks. You can open up an account with almost no money and set up, get shops set up and things like that. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is, even in this time, with the ubiquity of technology and financial services for those who are in the middle class and above, we still have between 8 and 12 million households in this country that, for one reason or another, do not have a bank account to cash checks or to deposit payments or perhaps even to request small loans, right? 8 to 12 million households of our neighbors. Now, again, you may ask yourself, well, why is this? What are the reasons here? Well, my research has basically brought me to 5 reasons, right? And it goes something like this. First of all, in some areas, they have what are called banking deserts. So there actually are no physical locations that they can go to and conduct a business with a commercial bank, right? And so, with the lack of physical locations, whereas you have a check cashing place on the corner or a payday lender on the corner, wow, it's a lot easier to go there and conduct your business, even if they have exorbitant fees that cost you a portion of your paycheck. It's just a lot more convenient to go there. All right. Also, number two, and I've actually seen this on a personal level with some friends of mine. There are persons out there, our neighbors, that have overdraft charges on their previous bank accounts. So if they receive a paycheck, or if they have money coming in, they can't really deposit it in their bank accounts because the bank is going to go and extract the overdraft charges and fees from the previous arrangement, which is going to wipe out a significant portion of their payments. They're looking to avoid that. Thus, they go to payday lenders and check cashing places because their fees, as high as they are, would actually be less than what commercial banks would cost them if they tried to deposit their money. Also, there's kind of dovetailing onto the second reason, which is the third reason. Actually, commercial banks can have very high fees, right? Overdraft fees, minimum balance fees, and things like this, and that just eats up a portion of people's paychecks. And the way they figure, well, why would I want to pay a commercial bank this money when it'll be easier, really, to just go to a check cashing place or a payday loan place Yes, perhaps over the long run, it would be more expensive to do it that way, but at least I'm not tied down with all of the myriad of complex fees and charges that a commercial bank would levy. So they elect to avoid using them entirely. Also, for the fourth reason is that there is a digital divide in our country, right? So, whereas persons who have the technology and they have the technical skills to perhaps open up an online bank with virtually no fees and ease of transaction and things like that. If you are in an impoverished area, if you do not have access to either the hardware or the software to set up shop, this becomes virtually impossible for you to do, right? And so it again that pushes you in the direction of of check cashing places and payday lenders. And number five, and this really cannot be overstated, is the effect of poverty culture, right? So you have lots of persons who have been raised in successive generations of poverty, and it's just in their thinking that, well, you just use a payday lender, you use a check cashing place. That's what your parents did. That's what your grandparents did. That's what your siblings do. So you do it, right? And not even giving thought to the to a better alternative. All right. But here's the question: what can this new administration, the new government, do to turn this situation around? Well, actually, there are some things that can be done, and they can actually be done by executive order. Don't even need congressional approval, right? So, what are my thoughts? Well, it would go something like this. In every state in this union, there are credit unions, right? Most of these credit unions are nonprofit. They do not have shareholders to pay or dividends to pay out or anything of that nature. And thus, if you are a part of an affinity group, they can set up shop with you a bank account that would with either low or no minimum balances required, right? No monthly fees required, and they'll do your check cashing. They'll allow you to rebuild your credit. They may even extend small loans to you if you are credit approved, right? Now, the question is, or the challenge is having those credit unions in a physical location that's accessible by those who could use their services. What could be done? Well, what has been kicked around for some time now, and in fact, back in previous decades, it had been done, is that to let them set up shop in post offices, right? That makes perfect sense to me. Most post offices have extra space, and even if the government has to say build an additional office or something or clear some space there, you can come into partnership with a credit union in your state that has a structure that would benefit these persons who are unbanked, and you can allow them to set up shop free of charge in either a post office, United States Postal Service office, or in a government building, Social Security Administration, or any federal government building, and they can actually go there to conduct their business, right? And they can do that and save huge amounts of money from having to deal with payday lenders and check cashing places and whatnot. Now, free checking, you got it. Fee free check cashing, yes sir, right? Um, Micro loans to make it through into your next pay period, or help pay the rent or a car note in a crunch, perhaps if you're credit quality, credit approved, they could do that with a modicum of additional fees added on. right? That structure already exists. It can be done. The government, federal government, would basically just go down a list of all the credit unions in the state, set up a partnership with them, and say, hey, can you please set up shop in this post office or in this government building? We'll give you the space for free, and please make your services available for those persons to open up an account with a minimum balance, right? Initial balance, $10, $25, maybe nothing. Who knows, right? There are some credit unions, certainly here in Texas, that do that. And if you need to expand your charter to take in to accommodate a larger affinity group, we want to partner with you to get that done, right? And that would be a huge boon for those in urban areas or impoverished rural areas. And it would basically save them enormous amounts of money that they would otherwise have to spend at these alternative financial services structures. They could actually do that. And here's a good thing: it's all in the legitimate financial services market. So there's no monkey business or anything going on like frequently what happens with these check cashing places and whatnot, right? So that's a thought. Now, there's a question about, well, what about the commercial banks, right? Well, obviously the commercial banks, they're not really interested in doing business with persons like this, right? They are looking to make profits. They have shareholders to satisfy. And to be completely honest with you, having to do this kind of business with those on the lowest end of the socioeconomic scale is just not worth it for a lot of them. But you could still solicit their help. How so? Well, as a as a contingent for signing up for all these great new free services that you'll get the new credit union arrangement in your local area, you would agree. This is the account holder would agree that a small fee would be taken out of any checks that are cashed or deposited and used to pay off any overdraft charges they have with their previous bank or unpaid loans with their previous bank, right? Because there's no reason you don't want to reward people for stiffing their previous financial institution. And that's not the goal here, right? That's not what we want. Now, in order to receive these payments from their previous clients, these commercial banks would agree to waive any fees that are attached to the overdrafts or to the defaulted loans, right? So we would not be rewarding the commercial banks for gouging people on fees and things like that. But they will be made whole, right? They will be made whole by the arrangement with perhaps a reasonable amount of interest attached to the overdraft amount or to the defaulted loan. That makes sense to me, right? That way, everyone wins. And you want to make the fee for the credit union in this and the government in this new arrangement. You want to make the fee that is extracted to make up for the previous overdrafts or defaults. You want to make that so small that it would still be worth it to do business with this new credit union than it would be to go to the payday loan, the payday loan people or the check cashing place, right? So whereas they may charge you $10, $15 to cash your check, right? You may have to pay a $3 or $4 fee to pay off any back overdrafts or defaulted loans that you had with your previous institution. And the good thing about it is, if you don't have an overdraft or a defaulted loan, then you're basically in the clear, right? So basically, it is a win-win-win situation for everyone. The way I see it, the only The only negative, the only loser, and we'll put loser in air quotes, the only loser in this situation would be the payday lenders and the check cashings, the check cashers. They would be the losers because they would probably end up losing a lot of their clientele. But hey, that's great, because they are and have been for decades basically gouging the poor, the working class, making it extremely difficult for them to move forward. Right? The credit unions would benefit. They would have all these new clients, and as these clients set up shop, and they're able to do so successfully, they become more and more successful, and they could branch out into other financial services and arrangements offered by the credit union, and it would just benefit the credit union. It benefits the government. It benefits the poor and the working class. Just about everyone benefits from an arrangement like this. It can all be done. Yes, I would say that it could all be done by executive order. No need to get congressional approval or anything like that. It would just be an excellent setup, and I would hope that the powers that be would take this particular option and really run with it, right? Because it may seem like small ball, so to speak, but I think that for the poor, the working class, these persons who are unbanked or underbanked, this will just save them big time money on a weekly basis, and it will help them rebuild their credit quality by and credit scores by paying off previous balances and things like that. And that of course would then benefit the economy writ large going forward, which is what the politicians certainly would want to see. All right, so those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this plan, nonprofit or not for profit credit unions setting up shop at the post office or in government offices to service the unbanked and underbanked. All right. If you found this video instructive or informative, smash that like button. Thumbs up. Smash it. Hit it. Destroy it. Appreciate that. Also, let me know if in the comments if I missed something or perhaps the structure of this could be improved. I'm all ears, right? Let me know. And of course, subscribe. Please subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. More solutions are coming, right? More solutions are coming. Thank you so much and good blessings.